The streets of Calcutta were alive with sound and suffering. Children cried. Flies buzzed. The stench of garbage mixed with the smell of sweat. A woman walked slowly through the crowd. She was small, dressed in a simple white sari with blue borders. Her eyes were calm. Around her, chaos ruled. A man coughed blood into the gutter. A girl begged for bread. A baby lay silent on the ground. Imagine you are there. The heat burns your skin. The noise crushes your ears. The sight of pain pierces your heart. Would you keep walking? Would you close your eyes? Or would you stop, bend down, and give your life to strangers? This woman stopped, again and again, day after day, year after year. Her name was Mother Teresa. But before she became the saint of the poor, she was a simple girl from a small town. Nobody knew her name. Her life was not about power or money. It was about one word. Listen carefully. Compassion. Repeat with me. Compassion means deep care for others. She gave compassion to the forgotten, the dying, the ones nobody wanted to touch. And in doing so, she shook the whole world. But here is the question for you. If you were born in comfort, would you leave everything behind for the poorest of the poor? Close your eyes and imagine. A soft bed, a warm meal, a safe family. Now take it all away. What remains? This was her choice, not because she had nothing, but because she heard something. A voice, a calling, and that calling would lead her into slums darker than night, hospitals filled with screams, and streets painted with hunger. But wait, let me ask you, if it were you, hearing a voice telling you to serve the poorest, would you obey? Think about it. A voice calling you to leave safety, to walk into pain, to live among the dying. Would you go? This is the story of Mother Teresa. But it is also a mirror, because maybe her story is also your story. Maybe you, too, have heard a whisper. Maybe you, too, have felt a call to do something bigger than yourself. And if you listen, if you dare to follow, you might discover what she discovered, the power of love in action. Love not as a word, but as a verb. To touch the untouchable, to feed the starving, to give when you have nothing. So today, we begin her journey, from a hidden childhood to a burning city, from silence to a storm of compassion. Stay with me until the end, because her life holds lessons for your English, your heart, and maybe your destiny. And remember this phrase, love in action. Say it now. Love in action means real love is shown by what we do. This is the hook. This is the beginning. But this is not the end. Her story has only just begun. Before Calcutta. Before the crowds. There was a small town called Skopje. The year was 1910. The world was still quiet. In a simple stone house, a baby girl was born. Her name was Agnes Gongsha Bojakshu, a name few could pronounce. Her father was a businessman, strong and respected. Her mother was gentle, known for her kindness, always opening their door to the poor. Imagine little Agnes as a child. She hears church bells ringing. She smells fresh bread from the market. She feels warm hands of her mother. Her eyes were bright, curious, searching. From a young age, she asked questions about God, about life, about the suffering she saw around her. Her mother taught her something simple. Never eat a meal unless you share it. Repeat after me. Share means give a part to others. That lesson became her heartbeat. While other children played with dolls, Agnes watched the faces of beggars outside their home. At church, the air was filled with incense. The candles flickered like stars. She whispered prayers, not for herself, but for strangers. Her father died when she was only 8. A sudden loss. One day laughter. The next day, silence. The house felt colder. Her mother held the family together, strong, firm, but always compassionate. She told Agnes, My child, always trust God. He will guide you. Imagine being a little girl, losing your father, seeing your mother struggle, yet still choosing kindness over bitterness. Would you do the same? Agnes grew with that fire inside. Faith was not theory. It was real. It was bread shared. It was doors open to strangers. At 12 years old, she felt her first calling, a voice in her heart. Not loud, not thunder, just a whisper. Serve me. She looked at the cross. She felt her heart beat faster. Could it be God asking her to give everything? Her friends dreamed of marriage, family, comfort. But Agnes dreamed of something else, a life fully given, fully poured out. At 18, she left home. Imagine that moment, suitcase in hand, tears in her mother's eyes, the sound of a train waiting. Her mother embraced her, whispered, "Put your hand in his hand and walk with him." Repeat, walk with means, go together. She stepped onto the train. The whistle screamed, smoke filled the air. The world outside blurred as the train carried her away. Think of it, at 18, leaving home forever. No internet, no phone, no promise of return. Would you have that courage? She went to Ireland first, to join the Sisters of Loreto. There, she learned English, the language of her future mission. Her teacher gave her a phrase, God is love. Say it now. Simple words, but words that would shape her life. From Ireland, she sailed to India, a land of color, noise, and endless crowds, a land she would never leave again. The ship carried her across the ocean. Imagine the smell of salt air, the creak of wood, the endless horizon of blue. What was in her heart? Fear, excitement, perhaps both, but above all, a certainty. Her life was no longer her own. This was not yet Mother Teresa. This was still Agnes, young, unknown, stepping into destiny she could not yet see. But destiny has a way of waiting at the corner, ready to surprise. And soon, her surprise would come on a train. It was September 1946. The monsoon rain lashed against the train windows. Agnes, now Sister Teresa, sat quietly, holding her rosary beads. The train rattled toward Darjeeling. Mountains rose like giants outside. Steam hissed, wheels clanged. Inside her heart, a storm was beginning to rise. She closed her eyes. Suddenly, a voice spoke, not from outside, but from deep within. Clear, powerful, impossible to ignore. Serve the poorest of the poor. Leave the convent. Go into the slums. Live among them. It was not suggestion. It was command. Her heart raced, sweat on her palms. She opened her eyes, but the voice stayed, a calling stronger than fear. Imagine you, sitting on a train, safe, certain, and suddenly hearing a voice telling you to give up everything. What would you do? She whispered. Yes. A single word that would change history. A whisper stronger than armies, more powerful than kings. From that moment, she knew her life would never be the same. Her mission was no longer teaching in schools. Her mission was to touch the untouchable, to love the unloved, to bring dignity to the dying. This was her turning point. She called it the call within the call. Repeat with me, call means invitation or mission. Her call was to step into pain. But how do you leave safety? How do you walk away from walls, food, sisters, and step into streets filled with disease? The answer? Faith. Faith means trust without proof. Repeat, faith is believing without seeing. Sister Teresa held on to that faith. She wrote letters to her leaders, asking for permission. Silence. Delay. Months passed. Doubt grew. But the calling grew louder. Imagine waiting, not knowing if you will be allowed to follow the fire inside. Would you still trust? Would you still wait? Finally, permission was granted. She left her convent walls with only 5 rupees in her pocket. Nothing else. No map, no house, no family, just a sari. A heart burning with love and a trust that God would provide. That moment, walking out of the gates, was her death and her birth. Death of the old life. Birth of a mission. She stepped into the streets of Calcutta. The noise swallowed her. Cows wandered. Rickshaws rattled. Beggars reached out with empty hands. Everywhere she looked, faces of hunger, eyes of despair, bodies broken. Yet in each face, she whispered, "Jesus, I see you." And here is your question. If you saw dying people on every corner, would you run away, or would you kneel beside them? Sister Teresa knelt. She washed wounds with trembling hands. She held dying children as if they were her own. One English phrase became her motto: do small things with great love. Say it now. Repeat. Do small things with great love. This was not theory. It was practice. Love was not in speeches. Love was in touching wounds, in lifting bodies, in smiling through pain. That day on the train changed everything. A quiet whisper became a revolution. And she, a small woman, became unstoppable. But the world did not yet know her. She was still alone, walking the streets, holding on to nothing but faith. The turning point had come, but the journey ahead would test her like fire. And her rise would be born from struggle. The streets of Calcutta became her classroom. The poor became her students. The city itself became her convent. Every day was a lesson. She began with nothing. No building, no money, just a small hut. There, she taught children how to write using sticks in the dirt. Imagine this. No blackboard, no chairs, no books. Only dirt, sunlight, and a woman kneeling beside children, tracing letters with her finger. She smiled at them. She said slowly, "A, B, C." They repeated, their voices fragile but filled with hope. That was education reborn. Soon, the sick came. A woman with leprosy, a man coughing blood, a baby burning with fever. She opened her arms to them all. She begged for food on the streets. She carried rice on her head. She cooked meals for strangers with her own hands. People stared. Some mocked. "Why waste your time with the untouchables?" they said. She answered softly, "Because they are children of God." This is where contrast burns bright. The world said worthless. She said precious. The world said untouchable. She touched. English lesson, precious means very valuable. Say it with me, precious, for her. Every life, even the weakest, was precious. Day by day, others joined her. Girls from the city, former students, volunteers from abroad. A movement began to form. In 1950, she founded the Missionaries of Charity. Their mission, to serve the poorest of the poor. Their uniform, simple white saris with blue stripes. Her sisters lived like the poor. They owned almost nothing. They slept on the floor. They ate simple rice. They smiled through exhaustion. But love grew. The slum became alive with hope. A dying man could die with dignity. A starving child could smile once more. Ask yourself, if you had to choose, would you live in comfort for yourself or in poverty for others? What would you decide? The world began to notice. Newspapers wrote stories. Photos spread, a tiny woman holding broken bodies, smiling with joy. Some admired her. Others doubted. She is just one woman. What difference can she make? They asked. She replied, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. This phrase became a torch. Repeat it after me. Small things with great love. Simple words. Powerful truth. Her rise was not easy. She battled sickness, loneliness, misunderstanding. But each struggle made her stronger. Contrast again. She was tiny, fragile, unknown. Yet her impact was vast. Shaking governments, inspiring millions. Weak in body, but mighty in spirit. She walked alleys that smelled of death, yet she carried the fragrance of life. She stood in darkness, yet her smile was light. Her mission grew, house by house, city by city, nation by nation. A river of compassion flowing from one woman's yes. And remember this: greatness is not measured by wealth or fame. Greatness is measured by love. By the late 1960s, her work had spread beyond India. Centers of charity opened in Venezuela, Tanzania, Italy. Her sisters went everywhere. But fame was not her goal. Her eyes never looked for cameras. They looked for the dying, the hungry, the forgotten. This was her rise. Born from nothing, born from weakness. Yet it was strength greater than empires. And yet, this was not the end. The climax of her story was still waiting, higher than anyone could imagine. The year was 1979. The world was watching Oslo, Norway. The Nobel Peace Prize, the highest honor, was about to be given. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered. The hall filled with kings, queens, presidents, men in suits, women in gowns. Then she entered, a small woman, dressed in a white sari with blue stripes. No jewels, no crown, just sandals on her feet and peace in her eyes. The audience stood, clapping. But she bowed her head. She was not there for glory. She was there for the poor. Her speech was simple, her voice calm. She said, "If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one." English lesson: feed means give food. Repeat after me: feed the hungry. She taught not with big theories, but with simple words. The contrast was striking. Rich leaders in gold halls listening to a woman who owned almost nothing, who lived among beggars. Yet her words pierced deeper than any weapon. She said, "The greatest disease today is not leprosy, but being unwanted." Think about it. Do you feel unwanted sometimes? Do you know someone lonely? She said loneliness is worse than hunger. Her message shocked the world. Not power, not politics, but love. Love as action. Love as cure. She ended with a call. Do small things with great love. The hall erupted with applause, but she remained still. Imagine being her, standing before the world, yet thinking of slums, of dying children in Calcutta. Would you stay humble? Her lesson was clear. Greatness is humility. English phrase. Actions speak louder than words. Say it. Actions speak louder than words. She lived that truth. She did not just speak. She acted. Washing wounds, holding hands, feeding mouths. This was her climax. From a hidden girl in Skopje to the stage of the world. From whispers to thunder. But she never changed. She still slept on the floor. Still ate rice. Still wore the same sari. Still smiled at beggars. That is the twist. While the world saw her as a saint, she saw herself as a servant. And here is your lesson. True greatness is not what others call you. It is how much you love without expecting reward. Ask yourself, if you had power, money, or fame, would you still bow down? Would you still wash the feet of the poor? Mother Teresa did, and her story teaches us one phrase. Humility is power. Say it. Humility is power. Because when you kneel to serve, you rise higher than kings. When you give away, you receive more than empires. This is the paradox of her life. Poor in possessions, but rich in love, weak in body, but mighty in spirit. Her climax was not the Nobel Prize. Her climax was every dying soul who smiled because she touched them. And maybe, just maybe, your climax will also not be fame, but the life you touch quietly when no one sees. The story of Mother Teresa is not only history, it is a mirror. When you look at her life, you see your own choices. She was not rich. She was not tall. She was not powerful by the world's measure. Yet she became one of the most powerful voices. Why? Because she chose love. Not love as a feeling, not love as a dream, but love as action. English lesson. Love in action. Repeat after me. Love in action means to show love by what you do, not only by words. She showed that one person can make a difference. One hand can heal. One smile can change despair into hope. And now I ask you, what about you? What small thing can you do today with great love? Maybe it is helping a friend. Maybe it is sharing food. Maybe it is speaking kind words. Small, yes, but powerful. Remember her phrase. If you can't feed 100 people, feed just one. You do not need to change the world. You only need to love the person in front of you. Start there. That is the seed of greatness. Her life ended in 1997, but her mission lives on. Thousands of sisters, in over 100 countries, still serve the poorest today. The streets she once walked are still alive with her spirit. The huts, the hospitals, the schools all whisper her name. But the real question is not about her. It is about you. Will you choose comfort or compassion? Imagine if you too said yes to your calling. Imagine if you did small things with great love every single day. The world would change, and you would change. Your English would grow, your heart would grow, your life would grow. So, my friend, here is the final phrase for you to remember. Humility is greatness. Repeat after me, humility is greatness. Now, take this story with you. Let it live inside you. Let it inspire you every time you feel weak or afraid. Mother Teresa's life is proof. Love is the most powerful language, and you already know how to speak it. So, what will you do today? Will you walk past the suffering, or will you stop? Bend down and love. The choice is yours. And maybe your choice will inspire someone else, just like her story inspired you. If you felt moved, if you learned something, if you believe in love in action, then don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, comment your dream, and subscribe to learn English through powerful stories that change your heart and your life. Because stories like this are not just lessons in English. They are lessons in courage, faith, and hope. And remember, small things, great love. Say it one more time. Small things, great love. Now go and live it. Behind the sorry, behind the smile, there was also struggle. Even saints are human. Even heroes face doubt, darkness, and inner pain. Letters discovered later revealed her secret. For years, she felt spiritual dryness. She wrote, "I feel that God is silent. Where is He?" Imagine that. A woman the world called holy, yet inside, she felt empty, like praying into silence. Would you still continue? This is another contrast. Outside, she was light. Inside, she felt darkness, yet she kept walking, kept serving, kept loving. Her lesson here: love is not only a feeling, love is a decision. English phrase, keep going. Repeat after me. Keep going. She kept going, even without feelings, even without comfort. She chose action over emotion, faith over doubt, service over despair. This makes her story even more powerful. Because true greatness is not never falling. True greatness is rising every time you fall. Ask yourself, have you ever felt empty? Have you ever felt your prayers unanswered? Would you stop, or would you keep going? Mother Teresa chose to continue, and that is why millions remember her. Not for perfection, but for persistence. English lesson. Persistence means never giving up. Say it aloud. Persistence. That word defines her life, her mission, her spirit. And this is a twist many did not expect. The woman who gave hope to millions also carried hidden wounds in her heart. But perhaps that is why she understood suffering so well. Her own darkness made her light brighter for others. She once said, "I am a little pencil in the hand of God." Repeat, pencil, meaning simple, small yet used to write greatness. This humility is what made her unstoppable. She did not see herself as strong, but as an instrument of love. Now think, if you feel small, weak, unimportant, maybe that is exactly why you can be used for something big. Because weakness is not the end. Weakness can become the channel for love, if you allow it. So the hidden struggles of Mother Teresa are not shameful. They are the secret key to her power. And this is a lesson for you. You do not need to be perfect to make a difference. You only need persistence. Her story is finished, but her voice still speaks. Not from speeches, not from books, but from the lives she touched with love. When you walk into a hospital, when you see a hungry child, when you hear someone crying alone, her whisper is still there. She whispers, "Do something, don't wait. Don't overthink. Just love." These words are not for history. They are for you. So, pause. Look at your own life. Where is your Calcutta? Where is the place you are called to serve? It may not be India. It may not be slums. It may be your own home, your school, your office, your street. English lesson, serve, means help others with love. Repeat after me, serve. That is the heart of her life. The heart of greatness. Think about the people around you. Who feels unwanted? Who feels invisible? Who is hungry? Not for bread, but for kindness. You can be their Mother Teresa. You can be the one who stops, bends down, and shows compassion when no one else does. This is not just a story to admire. It is a mirror to act. What will you do today with great love? Take her famous phrase, "Small things with great love." Write it down. Say it aloud. Practice it. Make it your daily habit. Because language is not only words. English is not only grammar. Life is not only survival. Real meaning comes from love in action. If you want to improve your English, practice with her words. Say them slowly. Repeat them daily. Compassion, humility, persistence, serve. Let these words shape both your language and your life. Let them remind you every time you speak. Love is stronger than fear. And remember this idiom, light a candle. It means bring hope where there is darkness. Repeat, light a candle. That was her mission. Now it can be yours too. Every time you smile, every time you share, every time you forgive, you light a candle. So, will you light your candle today? Will you stop walking past the poor, the lonely, the broken, and start loving them? This is your chance. This is your story. Mother Teresa has shown the way. Now it is your turn to walk it. Because love is the only treasure that grows when you give it away. And your English will grow as your love grows too. So here is my final call to you. If this story touched your heart, if it inspired you, if it helped your English, act now. Like this video. Comment your dream. Subscribe for more stories that teach you English and life together. Step by step, heart by heart. And never forget the words that changed the world. Do small things with great love. Say them once more. Then go and live them.